Hello students, let us discuss a new topic, that is solvent extraction. So before going to this lesson, what is extraction? What is solvent? Solvent is nothing but what here? In a solution, we are going to have solute and solvent, right? So if you take a solution, let us take this is a solution. So in this we are going to have solute plus solvent, right? Solute is nothing but what here? Small quantity, very small amount. If you take that one, we call it as solute. Solvent is nothing but what here? Large amount or larger quantity. So let us take one example to know this. So let us take salt water or sugar water. So these two are the examples. So what I have told you, solute here, small amount. So here what will be the small amount? The salt will be the solute here. Solvent is nothing but water. Okay. So means what here? Which will be very low quantity we are taking to dissolve. That one we call it as solute. Which is we are taking very large amount. That one we call it as solvent. Here also the solute will be sugar and solvent will be water. Okay, so solvent is nothing but what here, which will be taking in a large amount. That one we call it as solvent. So now I'm saying solvent extraction. Then what is extraction? So extraction is nothing but what here? Separation of the compounds or separation of the layers, we call it as extraction. So what we can say? Extraction, separation we can say. So separation of the layers or separation of the components, we call it as extraction. So now what we are separating? The solvent molecules. The solvent molecules may be organic or inorganic or aqueous solutions. So we can take aqueous solutions, or aqueous is nothing but water solutions. So or we can take organic compounds, or we can take inorganic compounds. That one we are going to separate. Okay, so means what here? That is nothing but solvent extraction. So now by this, the solvent extraction, what we can define here? So the solvent extraction is nothing but the separation of any two liquids, we call it as solvent extraction. So we are going to get one doubt, why we can't separate solid and liquid. Okay, right? So here we can take liquid to liquid. So and also solid to liquid and gas to liquid. So these are the things we are having, right? So but coming to here, the separation is possible. If you take liquid, if you take solid and liquid, it can easily separate, right? If you take solid and liquid, it can easily separate. For example, if you take soil and water, so you can separate easily through filtered paper, right? So and also if you take gas and liquid, gas like helium, neon, argon, like that, if you have been taken, so according to Henry's law, what we can take? The gas will distribute itself in a ratio between liquid and the gas. So that one we call it as Henry's law. So coming to here, this one also we can separate easily. The gas and liquid also we can separate easily. But coming to liquid, the soluble compound we cannot separate easily. Okay, so those type of things should be separated by solvent extraction. So that's why we are discussing mainly about here liquid to liquid extractions. So what is separating here? This liquid to liquid extraction is very important to separate the solvent extraction. So this is about general introduction of solvent extraction. So generally solvent extraction is very cheap. It is not a apparatus. We can say it is not apparatus or instrument. It is not an instrument, we can say. It is like a funnel which is having a keyhole. Okay, so means what, here we can easily separate that one. So coming to here, it is cheap also. In market it is very cheap, so we can easily buy that one. So coming to here, now let us see principle. So what is the principle of solvent extraction? So in the previous class, I mean in a second year, we have discussed about distribution law, Nernst distribution law, right? So what is distribution law? So in the previous class, we have discussed distribution law. So the distribution law is nothing but what here? This solvent extraction mainly depends upon the distribution law. Mainly depends upon what here? Distribution law. So then what is distribution law? Distribution law is nothing but here, when a solute distributes itself between two immiscible layers in contact with each other, ratio of concentration of substances in two phases is constant at constant temperature. So this one we call it as distribution law. Now I'll explain you clearly here. So see here, what I'm saying here, when a solute distributes itself between two immiscible layers. So what is immiscible layer here? Immiscible layer is nothing but which is not soluble. So which is not soluble means, if you take a general example, oil and water. Okay, so in a beaker I am taking here, this is a solution I am taking, see here. So I have told you what here, two immiscible layers. Let us see, whenever I am drawing this black line, these two are immiscible layers. So these two we call, there is a layer between this solution, that one we call it as immiscible layer. Okay, so immiscible solutions. Okay, so here what happens, these two are not soluble, right? If you take oil and water, what happens, the oil is not soluble in water, it cannot easily dissolve in water. So then what you have to do, you have to add something to dissolve in water, right? So in the same thing happens here. To dissolve this solution, we are taking here, for example, solute. Some solute I have taken to dissolve in these two immiscible layers. So means what, it is interacting with both layers. Okay, so means what here, this is nothing but distribution law. So let us, this layer, let us take C1, let us take C2. C1 indicates what, concentration of phase 1, concentration of phase 2. So by this what we can write, the distribution law. So the distribution law is denoted by Kd, which is known as distribution law or distribution constant. At constant temperature, So then what happens? The ratio of concentration of substance in two phases, which is constant at constant temperature, we call it as distribution law. So what we can say, this is nothing but distribution law. So what I'm speaking here, what is distribution law here? So here, when a solute, this is a solute, distributes itself, it is only distributing itself between two immiscible layers. These are the two immiscible layers which are contact with each other. Then the ratio of the concentration of substance in two phases is constant at constant temperature. That one we call it as known as distribution law. So generally you take an example here. We are having different types of examples. Okay. So if you take benzene and here water. So if you add, think benzene is a oil and water. Okay, so it is not dissolved. So to dissolve this compound, we are adding a solute. What here? We are adding a solute here, CCl4. So carbon tetrachloride, I am adding a solute. So then what happens? The distribution law will be Kd is equals to concentration of water divided by concentration of benzene. So this is nothing but what we can say, this is nothing but distribution law. So we are having certain conditions. So the solvent extraction mainly depends upon what here? Distribution law. Okay. So we are having what here? Certain conditions. So what are those conditions here? We are having the first one, to get the distribution law, to obey the distribution law, it should follow certain conditions. So means what here? The solute should associate in a solvent. So what we are saying? The solute should associate in a solvent. So means what we can say here? Here we can say K is equals to C1 by n root C2. We got this one. Why? Because here the second phase only associated, not the first phase. I'll be explaining, you see here. So I have been taken here immiscible layers, and here the phase is C1 and here C2. Okay. So there is no change in the first phase and there will be change in the second phase. So then what happens here? C1 plus C2 plus n gives rise to n C2. So this is the thing we have got. Okay. So according to this one, why? Because there is change in the second phase only. There is no change in the first phase. But according to distribution law, what is the formula? C1 by C2. So in place of C2, what we will be writing means C1 by n root C2. Why? Because here we are doing the square. Okay, so here it is forming the bimolecular compound. Bimolecular compound is nothing but here, if you take CH3COOH, CH3COOH. So this is the two molecules. If you are taking, you are going to get CH3COOH twice. So it is forming a bimolecular. So when it is forming two molecules, when you find out the square root, you are going to get n root C2 here. You will be getting here 2 root CH3COOH. So means what happening here? It is associating. It is not dissociating. Okay. So this is the first condition. What is the next condition? The solute should be dissociate in solvent. So means what we are getting here? Value K is equals to C1 by C2 into 1 minus X. What is the dissociation? It is changing into atoms. Okay. So means what here? It is changing into atoms is nothing but what here? So if you take HCl, it will be 2HCl. It is changing into H2 plus Cl2. Right. So means what here? We are applying some initial conditions here. Same thing happening here. C2 plus 1 minus x gives rise to C2 into 1 minus x. So means what I am applying here? Initial conditions. So if you write it in the distribution law equation, C1 by C2 into 1 minus x. So then in the place of C2 we are getting C2 into 1 minus x. So means what happening? The solute whatever you are taking in this between the phase 1 and phase 2, there is no change in the phase 1, but there is a change in the phase 2. So one thing you observe here, when you do associate or dissociate, the first phase is not going to change. It is changing only in the second phase. That's why I'm taking the concentration C2 here. Okay, so here what happens? The solute should dissociate in the solvent. So means what is the equation we are getting here? K is equals to C1 by C2 into 1 minus x. Okay, so next, if suppose this is the two conditions, so the next condition we are going to have here is, so the next condition here, the temperature should be always constant. So whenever you do the solvent extraction, the temperature should be constant. Then only we can easily do distribution law. Okay. So this is the third condition. So coming to next condition. So what is the next condition here? The solution used are dilute. So means what here? Dilute is nothing but you are washing with water. That when we call it as dilution. So whenever you take solution, so when you wash with water, it will form two layers, right? So when you are washing with water, automatically it forms two layers. If you take oil, when you add water, it is forming two layers. Means the oil is washing with what? Water. So the solution used are what here? Dilute. So means what here? The ratio C1 by C2 will not remain constant here. Why? Because here we are distributing here, means we are distributing the solvent molecules. That's why we can write it as K is equals to C1 by C2 is equals to S1 by S2. Okay, so this is nothing but what here? This is nothing but solvent, means the solutions. What I have told you, generally the concentration of phase 1 by phase 2 is constant, but coming to here it is not constant. Why it is not constant? Why? Because the solution molecules is distributing the concentration. If you are having higher concentration, there will be more deviation. So in some cases we will be considering both solvent and also solute we are going to consider. So then it is given as K is equals to C1 by C2 and S1 by S2. So this distribution constant is also known as what we can say here? Partition coefficient. So this is nothing but the principle of the solvent extraction. So here the solvent extraction, so it consists of three types of process. So we are having three process. One is batch extraction. Okay, so it is having some experimental procedure. So what is that? The first one is we are having batch extraction, continuous extraction, and counter current extraction. So these three are the extractions we are going to have the process. Okay, so in the next class we can discuss about batch extraction, continuous, counter current extractions. So this is about solvent extraction and the principle. This is the procedure. So what is the procedure? General procedure, I will say, if I have been given two organic liquids, so when I have given two organic liquid mixture, so generally if you take inorganic compound, two inorganic salts, you have to find two cations and two anions, right? In the same way, if I have been given two organic compounds, first of all what you have to do is you have to separate one of the organic compound. Okay, in both of these two organic compounds you have to do we have to separate one of the organic compound and another one also you have to separate. After separating that, you have to do the individual process how we will be doing in the lab. Okay, that one should be separated only through the solvent apparatus only. So that one only, which type of apparatus we are going to be used, that one only we are going to discuss in the batch extraction, continuous extraction and counter current extraction. In the next class we can see these three. Thank you.